Hi, and welcome to Sit Down with Suzanne. I am your host, Suzanne. So, every week I want to make sure that I say a special thanks to my fans, to the ones that follow me on social media, to the ones that email me, to the ones that listen to the podcast. I do really want to thank you for following me, for listening, and to sharing your thoughts and your feedback onto what episodes have helped you and, what quote has helped you. As always, I desire to be an inspiration, I desire to motivate, and I desire to empower. So I hope you get all three. But if you don't get all three, hopefully you get at least one of them. So I made a decision a few weeks ago that every week I was going to answer a question from my fans. You have the ability to email me at Suzanne at positivelysuzanne.com. And this week I'm choosing one question because I do want to dive right into the show. My last show, I enjoyed it so much. I had an opportunity to sit down with a dear friend of mine who's a realtor, and we talked about moving from a renter to a homeowner and just, the steps that you need to take to get to the next level. And a lot of times, people will think that being a homeowner is an impossible dream, but there's so many things that are out there. And I also believe that information is key. So seek information, and you may believe something because you don't have the right information, but once you have the right information, you can make the right decision. So if you haven't listened to that show yet, please go ahead and listen to it. If you're in this area, the Massachusetts area, please reach out to her. She's a fantastic individual. I know she'll be a great realtor. And if you're nowhere near this area, find another realtor and reach out to them just so you can have some information to know what to do next. So the question I'm going to answer this week is what have you been working on lately? What lessons have you learned? Well, um, what have I been working on lately? I've actually been trying to be less busy. I have so much going on in my personal life, in my professional life, so much that I am trying to do. But what I am trying to do is eliminate the things that are unnecessary because I think a lot of times we do so much that is not necessary. We do so much that is busy work and keeps us busy and keeps us occupied and keeps us from doing the things that we truly enjoy and keeps us from spending time with our family. So that is a lesson that I'm consistently learning, and that is something that I've been working on for the past few weeks as I find I have less and less time during the day to devote to the things that I truly love, devote to my family member, and I've decided that the things that are not necessary, I'm going to eliminate them, but it takes time to just get from one step to the next. So that is what I'm consistently working on. And, I have mindful moments. I have moments that I stop no matter what I'm doing. And, I give my time to the Lord. I give my praises. I read my Bible. I have moments that it's me and my husband. I have moments it's me and my husband and my kids. I have moments that it's me and my kids. And I have moments that it's just me. There's so many different parts and moving parts, I should say, to what I do, but I want to ensure that in everything that I do, I am 100% in the moment, fully committed to being the best that I can be. So I hope that answers your question. And if I could encourage you about anything, it's to find mindful moments, eliminate the things that are clutter, eliminate the things that are not necessary, that the things that are keeping you from doing what you want to do. Because if you really sit down and look at it, a lot of the things that we do, we don't need to do. All right, so I wanted to jump into this week's topic because the topic is something that I've spoken of often. It's something that I've counseled others about, and it's something that is very important to me. And it's about finding your purpose. And a lot of people always ask me, well, why is it so important to find your purpose? First and foremost, I am a child of God, and I don't think I've made a secret of that. And I believe that our purpose on this earth is to be a blessing to others. That is our ultimate purpose. Um, I have been fascinated for the past few years with finding out what is my calling, what was I meant to be, what was I meant to do. And it's taken me around um, to many different places, right? I started to go back to school because I wanted to pursue a degree. Um, and I have a goal in mind what I want to do with that, but it is not my purpose. I do want to get the degree for a particular purpose, but that is not my ultimate purpose. I absolutely love my job. I enjoy what I do, but that is not my ultimate purpose. There's just so many things that I do, and it's very, very long time ago. A friend of mine named Linda, actually, when she was in college, she had sent me this book. I think it was called The Purpose Driven Life. And I think at the time it was a very popular book, and I had gone through that. Um, and then this year, I actually read Oprah Winfrey's book, The Path Made Clear. But, even before that, I have been searching for what my purpose is and what do I want to do. I know that I enjoy helping others. I know that I enjoy empowering others. I know that I enjoy standing up for others. I believe in equality. I believe in empowerment. I believe in everyone having a voice. And I've been trying to figure out what am I supposed to do with all that. So I think I know my purpose. It hasn't fully materialized yet because I do believe that we evolved. And what my purpose is right now is to have this platform, is to utilize this platform and this medium to encourage, to utilize this forum as a place that people could sit down and, or they could be driving and listen to it and find out how to be the best version of themselves, find out how to celebrate themselves, find out how to pick up themselves after a failure and move on. And, hopefully start thinking about what is their ultimate purpose. So, like I said, I'm constantly evolving. There are things that I did, last year that I've moved on from, that I've evolved from. And as I continue to grow, there's other facets to the things that I'm doing, where I'm going next with this medium. So, actually, something really excited came about a couple weeks ago. I started the podcast about 2 months ago, and it was very new to me. And if you listen to my earlier shows, you'll remember how I said I got started. But everything that you do, there's a group for it. So I did go on Facebook, and I did find a group called She Podcast that I joined, and just listened to different feedbacks and takes. And I actually found out that they were having a conference in Atlanta in October. And I thought about it, and I said to my husband, this is something that I truly want to do, but I don't know if I should do it because it wasn't cheap. And he encouraged me to go out there, and he said, check it out, because if you don't, you'll always wonder. And my goal for this conference is to learn different aspect of podcasting, things that I can do to make my podcast better, to make it more helpful, to reach more people, to touch more people. And I'm very excited. I purchased the tickets, the plane fare, booked the hotel. So I'll be going to Atlanta this month in the podcasting world to the first ever live She Podcast and conference. And I'm very excited about that. But that is something that I am doing that I think is going to help where I am right now. Because again, I'm not sure where this podcasting thing will go. I absolutely love it, and I enjoy doing it. I enjoy encouraging others. I enjoy getting your feedback that you enjoy it. But again, I think everything that you do, you should do with the mindset that it's going to be bigger, it's going to be better, and you will have an opportunity to impact more people. I don't know if more people think of things like that, like how do I impact others? And I've always thought of my life like that. My life is not just for me. It's not just about my happiness. It's about what I can do to be a blessing to others. It's about how I can help others, how I can help others be better. And, it's something that I've always believed. So as I continue to search for my purpose, and I know that it's not fully materialized yet, there has been some facets of it that's been revealed to me, and I am doing it right now. So I do life coaching. I counsel those that are challenged with just the everyday things of life. I mean, sometimes life is tough. I counsel those that are thinking of going back to school and, they're hesitating. I counsel those that want to change careers or change jobs and, they're hesitating. And, one of the things I always ask is, what is it that you ultimately want? What is it that you ultimately desire? Because you have to start asking the whys. The whys. Ask yourself the whys. Why am I doing this? Why do I need to do this? And ultimately, what do you expect to get out of it? Because just doing something because it's what you think you should do, or what you're supposed to do, or what others tell you to do is not enough. And once you can get to the whys, you can get to the root cause, and then you can figure out why you're doing it. I often relate as I'm counseling someone, to things that are happening at work. And a lot of times when I'm at work and I get a direction or I get a new initiative or a new launch or just a new direction of any company, I always ask the why. And I love when the companies tell us the why we're doing this. What do they expect to gain? How does this impact me? How does this impact the others that I work with? And how does it impact the organization as a whole? And, ultimately, I do have to be behind, the company, but I do want to ensure that I understand the whys they're doing it, because it equips me more to get this information to others. And that's why I've always been able to be passionate about something, leading a change, because I understand the why. I understand the why we're doing it. And, I mentioned earlier, and actually a couple episodes, that I'm going back to school. And, this week, I kind of had an aha Oprah moment. We were talking about the whys. And, one of the questions that came up, and it's about being a change maker, is the why are you doing it? And it made me take a step back, because I was implementing a change and I was telling the why the company was doing it, why the change was needed, but I wasn't looking at why I was doing it personally. And that, it just, like I said, it made me take a step back. It gave me an aha moment. And I realized that I am more passionate about causes that I have a why. Um, Personally, and I typically don't share the why because sometimes it doesn't truly matter. But I found out when you share the why you are personally doing it, then you're able to connect more with others. You're able to be more authentic, and people will follow you more if they understand your why. They will be more receptive to the change if they understand the why. So that is something that I'm trying to implement, in my daily life. More than the why something is needed, I want to connect it. I want to personalize it so I can share with others why I am doing it. And I think that will be helpful. And I think it's going to be helpful for you as you search for your purpose, as you find your purpose. I believe that we were all created with something unique. We were all created with a special ability to do something different from everybody else. And, it'd be really sad if you went through your entire life not knowing what that thing is. So, as you search for your purpose, find that thing that makes you unique. Find that thing that makes you special. And, maximize that. Then you'll be able to find your purpose. And your purpose might not be what you think it is. I mean, you can go to school to be a lawyer and you come out and it's like, wait, you want to be a doctor? Hopefully that's not the case, because both of them are different fields and, lots of years of college. But as you're searching for your purpose, I want you to eliminate the material things. Don't think of it how much money it brings you. A lot of times, people will say they're going back to school. And I get it. You need money to survive. You can't do anything without money. I get that. But choosing a career solely for the purpose of how much money you will make, you will be burnt out. You won't be happy. And, eventually you'll lose your passion. I don't believe that we should spend our entire days being unhappy. And when you think about your work, and if you're thinking about a career, you spend a minimum of 45 to 50 hours each week at work. You spend more time at work with your coworkers than you do with your family. So you have to enjoy your job. You have to enjoy your coworkers. And yes, there might be one or two that will drive you crazy, but you have to figure out a way how to deal with them, because you cannot go through the day wishing the day to be over. You cannot go through, oh, it's Monday, I want it to be Friday. And, one of the things I post on my social media site is Monday Motivation. And I try to post one every week because I want people to appreciate and love Mondays. Don't look at Monday like, oh, when is Friday coming? Friday is fabulous all on its own, but there's a couple days in between Monday and Friday. And if on Monday you're wishing for Friday, you're wishing your way of life. So enjoy Mondays. So, back to the topic. As you are searching for your purpose, make sure that it's something that you're passionate about. Make sure it's something that you have a why for. Make sure it's a purpose for you, not for your spouse, not for your children, not for your sibling, not for your parents. Your purpose is about you. It's about finding your purpose. And, I actually truly enjoyed Oprah's book, The Path Made Clear. There was a lot of quotes from people from different walks of life, from, the Dalai Lama to, notable celebrities. And I'm not sure if they've all found their purpose, but one thing I can tell you, it's just looking at different people's perspective about life is interesting. And I like to hear from people. I'll talk to a random stranger, just to ask them something. How did you find your purpose? How did you know you're passionate about this? How did you get this love for music? How did you get this love for dance? And, I like talking to people. I enjoy talking to people. There's this phrase I use, and, I always say, and I've said it for a long time, I've never met a stranger. I have met people that have been rude. Met people that have been standoffish, but I've never met a stranger. There is no one that I wouldn't talk to because I want to know about people. And as I am searching for my ultimate purpose, I believe people play a large role in that. I don't know what I'll be doing 5 years from now. I don't know what I'll be doing 10 years from now. But I know that whatever I am doing, it will be something that impacts others. It will be something that helps others. And hopefully, it will be something that makes a difference in the lives of others. So I just want to encourage you to find your purpose, and make sure when you find your purpose, like I said, you're taking the material out of it. I was talking to somebody who wants to go back to school, and ultimately I'm asking them, okay, so if we are going back to school, what is the purpose? What is the goal? What do you want to accomplish? A degree is great. A degree is fantastic. And if you need a degree for a chosen field, absolutely go ahead and do it. I would never discourage anyone from going to school. I actually happen to be one of those people who love school. I enjoy it. I work hard at it, and I get good grades. So why not, right? But there's a purpose for me going back to school. I'm going after something, and I'm going to use it for something. So I want you to ask yourself, if you decide to go back to school, why are you going back to school? What do you hope to accomplish, and what do you plan to do with it? If you're going after a job, why are you going after that particular job? Is it to make money? Or is it because it's something that you love? Something that I learned very early in my career, and I wish I had learned it a lot earlier, but it's to do the research on a company, and don't go to a company because they offer you, more money and more perks. I made that mistake early on in my career. Went to a company, uh, more money, more perks, but the culture was toxic. And it was very hard to work in an environment like that. So, if I did a little more research, I would have found out, what the culture was. But I didn't, but I learned my lesson. So, do your research on things, and I talk about that a lot. Do your research if you're going to a company to find out if that is ultimately the place for you, if that's what you want to do. Because like I said, there's no point to being somewhere 45 to 55 to 50 hours per week and be unhappy. So try to find your purpose, but in your search for your purpose, make sure it's something that you like. Make sure it's something that you enjoy. And I'll encourage you to pick up The Path Made Clear was a great book. I enjoyed it. I use so many of the quotes from it sometimes for my personal life, to help others that I counsel. But I do think it's important to find your purpose. And I want to say something to someone, and it's a very special person, and hopefully they'll know that I'm talking to them, and I won't name them. So I know right now you are going through something that you feel that it's your fault. I know it wasn't your fault, and I think I've told you a few times that it wasn't your fault. But I think everything happens for a reason, and you're going through this storm right now. But I think you're going to come out on the other side better because of the storm that you're going through. And I think what happened so that you will have an opportunity to truly find out your purpose. You'll have an opportunity to find out what you should be doing. And I think that the path that you're going down is the path that you should be on. And it is a little scary because it is new and it seems like you are flying without a net. But I promise you, God's got you, I've got you, and I believe in you. I know that you can do it. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that what you're doing, you'll be successful and you'll come out ahead. So good luck. All right. So for those of you who are still finding your purpose, I want to encourage you to don't give up, to dream big, to dream higher. And even when somebody is saying to you that your dream is too big or your dream is too crazy or it will never happen, there's no evidence that it will. Just smile, and move on. You don't have to argue and convince somebody that your dream is real and that your dream will come true. It is your dream. But as long as you put the work in, it will happen. I actually wrote a paper the other day, and in an article, and in it, one of the most misused quote, I've heard people will always say, right? And I think they say that it was written by Confucius, but then there was some debate on who actually said it. Actually, at one point, it was even attributed to Richard Branson. But the quote is, if you love what you do, you'll never work another day in your life. And I think that is often misused and misquoted because people think that if you love what you do, you'll never work. And I look at it like this. If you truly love what you do, you will work harder. You will work smarter. You will do whatever it takes to get better, to enhance it. Because when you're truly passionate about something, you will do everything in your power to make it a success. I think when it says you'll never work another day in your life, it just means that if you are working hard, you are enjoying it. You're not miserable because you love what you do. So, like this podcast, I love it. I enjoy doing it. I have so many other things that I'm doing, but most times I do the podcast after midnight when I've worked all day, I've gone to school, I've come home, I've made dinner, I've gotten the kids ready, I've gotten the husband and the kids off to bed, and it's after midnight and I have a few moments, and that's when I record my podcast. I'm passionate about it. I love it. So it would seem because I love it, I am not working, but I'm constantly trying to find ways to make it better. Constantly trying to find subjects that will be beneficial to others. I'm constantly trying to find ways to enhance it. Hence me going to this conference in Atlanta in the upcoming days. So don't confuse the saying. Yes, if you love something, it might not feel like work, but trust me, it is hard work to turn a wish, to turn a dream into reality. And when you're passionate about your dream, you will give it your all and you will succeed. So good luck searching for your purpose. Like I said, some facet of my purpose has materialized and I am currently working on it. Um, I should also share that I'm a minister in my church, and it is truly something that I am humbled by. The opportunity to deliver God's word to his people is such an humbling experience. And, whenever I have the opportunity to minister to the congregation, I do not take it lightly. I pray on it. I ask God for the right message because I want to ensure that when I'm up there, I always try to find something that could speak to the people where they're at. And as I'm ministering to others, I'm ministering to myself. So I thank God for that opportunity. And I thank God for giving me the chance to spread the gospel to his people. So that is something that I'm so just passionate about. And that is something that I enjoyed. And several years ago, that was not something that was even in my eyesight. So, but I thank God for vision, right? I'm so glad that I live by vision and not by sight. I live by what I know will come, what I can't see, and I'll dream it in my mind. God will put it in me, and I know that it will materialize and it will come to pass. And a lot of the things that are in my life right now, several years ago, I did not see it. And it doesn't mean that my life is perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but what it means is that I am grateful, I am humbled, I am blessed, and I'm mindful of all these things. And I live with an attitude of gratitude, and I give thanks always to God. And I've been trying my best to be better in every single role I play, in being a better wife, in being a better mother, being a better student, being a better teacher, being a better leader, being a better manager, being a better employee, being a better employer. So in everything that I do, I think of things every day that will make me better at it. So my purpose is still manifesting, but I know the path that I'm on and I know the journey that I am on. And I'm so excited. And, it hasn't fully come to pass yet, but I know that God has something glorious in store for me. I know that God has something glorious in store for you. So I just want to encourage you to keep going forward, to keep on believing, to keep on dreaming, and to know that it will come to pass. It will come to pass. Just see it in your mind's eye, and I promise you it will be manifested. It will come about. It will come about. So I thank you for listening to the podcast this week in regards to finding your purpose. For me personally, I am just grateful. I am just humbled. And for all the things that God has in store for me, I am saying thank you, God, in advance. And I hope you can say the same. So don't forget to follow me on social media under Positively Suzanne, both on Facebook and Instagram. Listen to the podcast, Sit Down with Suzanne on Spotify, on iTunes, on iHeart, on TuneIn, on Stitcher, and share with your friends. Remember, the goal of my podcast, it's the tenets of my brand. It's to inspire, to motivate, and to empower. But I want my podcast, like I said, to feel like, a conversation you can sit down and have in your living room with a loved one, with your girlfriends, with somebody that you enjoy being around, and just to talk about the things of life. And when you leave that conversation, you're going to laugh, You're going to cry, but you will feel better. So I thank you for listening. And until next time, have a great week.